Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point or Castaway Cay?
Which port reigns supreme?
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carrie.
And that's Leia. And because during our cruise, we were lucky enough that we actually got to experience both ports on one single cruise, we wanted to compare them side by side and see which one the better one was. So we picked 5 categories with which to judge these ports, and we're just gonna talk it out right now. Those categories are ability to navigate the island, vibes, food, activities, and shopping. Okay, so first we're gonna start with the ability to navigate the island. So let's talk about each of them right off the bat. Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point has the long pier.
Yeah, and honestly, that wasn't too bad of a walk considering it's a half mile. It was nice to look out over the ocean, watch the island approach, and get a nice big view of the boat from behind you.
Yeah, it was a really, really pretty view. The bad points though is not everybody's gonna wanna do that, and more importantly, not everybody's gonna wanna do it on their way back after a long day on the island. Now they do have tram shuttles to get people back onto the boat or to the island if you have mobility problems, so that's really nice. But then even when you get to the island, you have to take a tram to get to the main part where all of the activities are.
We actually found using the tram quite easy. There's not a lot of places to go. It's kind of like a point A to point B, so there's no really getting lost or anything like that or trying to navigate where you want to go on the island.
Now let's look at Castaway Cay. Castaway Cay doesn't have the big port. You get off and you are basically right there. The walk from the boat to the first parts of the beach is about the same length as the walk at the pier, but you still can take a tram to get around from that first point. So I would say in those terms, the ability to get around the island, it leans more towards Castaway Cay, just because everything's shorter. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with anything at Lookout Cay, but it's just a little bit more compact, a little bit easier to get around at Castaway Cay. And then once you're in the first area, to get to the other places, to get to like the adults area and things like that, there's a tram that can get you there right away, but you're already in it. Whereas at Lookout Cay, you got to take the tram just to get to that point first.
That's true.
All right, so first point to Castaway Cay. Next up, we're gonna talk about vibes. Now, both are in the Bahamas, but both islands have a very different approach to what they're presenting you as a port.
Eleuthera had a lot more of a Bahamian vibe to it. They had the parade dancers going around the shops and they were playing music and dancing along.
Whereas Castaway Cay was more of a Disney vibe. So you had a lot more Disney theming. You had a lot more of that kind of decoration and things around that. I think both have their merits for sure. But for me, I really, really enjoyed the vibes at Lookout Cay more than Castaway Cay.
I also enjoyed the vibes there. The only thing with the Lookout Cay was I could tell it was a new island. It felt very new, whereas Castaway Cay felt very established.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely one was a little bit more lived in than the other, and we know that that will change as time goes on. But yeah, no, absolutely, that's true. I just felt more in the Bahamas, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's a tie right now. We got 1 point each between Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point and Castaway Cay. Next up, we're gonna talk about the food. All right, so let's talk about our first day, which was at Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. I think there was a much bigger international offering and maybe just an overall larger offering than there was at Castaway Cay.
Yeah, the two islands had similar foods on their lunch menus, but Lookout Cay had a few other options. We had curry and we had some bowls and stuff like that that were offered at Lookout Cay that weren't available at Castaway Cay.
Yeah, it's true. And I think overall with Castaway Cay's offerings, there were a lot more basic offerings. Like, yes, they had the mac and cheese, they had the burgers, they had the fries, but yeah, there was just so much more going on, at least the way I saw it. Like, we all had very different plates when we sat down, whereas when we were at Castaway Cay, we all pretty much had the same thing.
Yeah, I do have to say though, the macaroni and cheese on the island is different from the macaroni and cheese you got on the boat.
Yeah.
And the macaroni and cheese on the island, so much better than what we got on the boat.
Yeah, and I had actually made a point about this in one of our videos. Apparently they're not doing great in the mac and cheese department. We've found so many empty trays with just a full thing of whatever the mac and cheese was, and it's quite consistent in the halls where room service is. Everything's been eaten. The mac and cheese has been left alone. I was just in a bathroom where there was a full thing of mac and cheese. I don't think they're doing great here.
I found it didn't have a lot of flavor. It tasted almost very watered down and milky, whereas the mac and cheese on the island actually had a good cheesy flavor.
Yeah, and I made sure to try all the meats on both islands. So I had the roast chicken, and I had a bite of the chicken sandwich, and I had the ribs and the fish and all the different things. And I think that Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point just did a better, more consistent job of everything being done well. I think the burgers, I said, were a little dry, but outside of that, everything was pretty good. I'd say the burgers at Castaway Cay were also a little dry, but they didn't really have anything to kind of raise the curve for meat at Castaway Cay after that.
The fish I found dry at both spots too. The thing is when you're doing that kind of mass production, it's really hard to keep things fresh and stuff like that. So for what it is, it's still a very good meal. But you know, like, we're kind of nitpicking between the two.
Yeah, we're directly comparing them. My vote would be behind Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point for this one.
Absolutely. You know me. I like variety in food. I love trying new things, and I really enjoy good food. So I would agree that Lookout Cay had the better food options.
I'd also like to have the hot take that I like food that is good.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta like food that is good.
The good food's way better than the bad food.
If it's not good, then it's not good.
No, 100%. So that gives Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point the lead at 2-1, and that brings us to our next category, and that's activities. So that's gonna cover a lot of things. That's gonna cover entertainment and just kind of what you can do while you're on the island. So let's start with the on-land entertainment. And I think that Lookout Cay has a little bit of an edge here because it's actually got Russia Junkanoo celebrations. So you've got what created a lot of those vibes, and you had the music going through. You've got some cultural stuff. If you go to the Mumbai Cultural Center, that's actually where that band is marching towards, so that you can go there and then you can do all kinds of things. Some good activities for the kiddies there, some dancing and all that sort of thing. We didn't really take part in that. We were
kind of busy walking the trails and stuff like that out to the lighthouse, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm an outdoorsy person. I hike in my spare time, and I enjoy doing that kind of thing. So getting to walk some trails, see some of the flora around the island, some of the different species of animals, like we got to see some little salamanders and lizards and stuff.
Yeah.
It was great to see all that stuff, and then getting to check out the lighthouse and finding that little hidden beach down at the end and seeing all the rock formations of the limestones. Like, that was definitely my element.
I agree. I think that part was really good. I think where it was a little less good, if my words don't fail me, is when it came to the actual water. Not a lot of activities going on in the water. They didn't have like those excursion things, or at least as many of them that you could do. The snorkeling was fine, but like there wasn't a lot going on. Like, we saw a few fish and that was really it.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, you and Reese were out in the water a little bit longer than I was out there, but I didn't see a single fish while I was out snorkeling. I think you guys saw one or two while you were out there, but there was none of the hidden statues that you get at the other island. The plant life underneath, it was all sand. There was no seaweed or anything like that to help attract any of the fish for snorkeling and things like that.
Yeah. And
it
so
did lack there.
Yeah, so that brings us to the water at Castaway Cay. A lot of stuff going on, a couple of in the water, like playground areas.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, so you had those. And again, I think this has a little bit more to do with that lived-in, established feel. They've had time to put this stuff together. I'm willing to bet that you'll see more of the same at Lookout Cay at some point. The fact that it's there is important. The fact that they have all those things like the Prince Eric statue, the mini statue, there's the little boat there. You couldn't see it in the video that I took, but there were so many fish inside the boat and they were all looking out the front, which made me laugh a little bit. It was cool to be able to see that, and the wildlife was insane. There were so many fish.
Yeah, going back to that boat, excuse the pun, but they were just packed in like sardines. it was
Sardines are fish.
So many inside there, and it's unfortunate that the camera didn't catch that, because it was actually really cool to see. There was so many different kinds of fish and different sizes of fish and colors of fish and everything else. And then there was all the little little buried metal pieces that they were using to create habitats and stuff like that to attract more fish and stuff like that into the area.
And on top of that, you had other things. So you had like the paddle boats and the paddle tricycle things.
Yeah, the tricycle thing.
Stuff like that. So there was a lot to do in terms of that. But then there's another way, another trail to get around, and it's a trail that you got to run. And this is what I think was cool in the difference between, I love the nature trail at Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, but the one that Carrie did, which was the 5K, which got her a medal, which was a cool thing. That's something that you can't do at Lookout Cay. But part of that trail was actually the airstrip that was used by Pablo Escobar to actually, move product is the best way to put that. So to be able to run that and have that kind of history surrounding you and just the achievement in getting the medal, I think is cooler. I didn't run it, but...
I asked you to walk it with me, but you didn't want to in your flip-flops, even though I was in Birkenstocks.
I know,
and
but...
a bikini that was too big.
I'm gonna defend myself though, a little. One, I just didn't want to, but two, the flip-flops, because at least her Birkenstocks like secured to her foot, whereas I have a hard time just walking in flip-flops, and I didn't bring shoes on because I wasn't prepared to do it at all. But had I done it, you wouldn't have ran it.
That's true. I wouldn't have ran it. So I was out in the sun and I was walking along, and I had woken up not feeling great, so I didn't bring any of my running gear off the boat with me because I did plan on doing it. I've said to my friends, I said to my husband, I'm like, this is like a cool bucket list thing that I can kind of knock off the list. I ran a 5K in the Bahamas, but I wasn't feeling great, so I didn't bring anything with me. And then I got out there and that kind of FOMO kind of kicked in, and I was just like, but I'm here, I could just walk it. So I did decide to walk it, but then my ADHD kind of kicked in too, I think. And I decided to run it, and I was so happy that I did. Like, I felt so much better afterwards. I think it helped clear a little bit of what I was kind of coming down with. It felt so good, and it's a great story that I now get to tell, that I ran along the airstrips that, Pablo Escobar used to use.
Yeah.
And on top of that, one of the funny things that happened on the trail, I don't even remember if I put this in the video or not, but as I was running, cyclists were able to come through. You could grab a bike and ride the trail as well. And there was this couple that were just ahead of me, and as I came around the corner, I saw him fall into the bushes. The crazy thing is they have poison trees everywhere, not just poison ivy like we have here in Canada that you got to watch for on the side of the trail. They have poison trees, and I watched him fall into the tree, and I just thought to myself, I'm like, I really hope he didn't hit some of those poison trees, because he's gonna have quite the rash later.
Yeah, no, that wasn't in the video, but also good on you for not capturing the man who is in distress on video. That's probably for the best.
Yeah, but I didn't plan on recording it. I thought it was a bit of a funny story. He was kind of showing off for the girl and ended up in the bush. So
yeah, no, I was just back at the beach talking to birds. That's how I show off.
No, you were talking to burbs.
Burbs.
You and Abby were talking to burbs.
So we're here with Burb, and we want to know how things are going today. Have you gotten any French fries? Wow, rude. Breaking them two down, I think that both are a lot of fun. I think I would give the edge to Castaway Cay.
My only caveat to that,
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I think Lookout Cay has the potential to overtake that, just because the things that we kind of gave the edge to Castaway Cay to are things that will take time to build, such as the plant life and the fish life in the water and things like that that they can build on. The fact that they're still building some of the buildings and that kind of thing. So I think that Lookout Cay has the potential to, in our minds and our ratings and everything else, take over Castaway Cay. But I agree, Castaway Cay on this particular trip does take the point.
Yeah, I'd say give it another 5 years and it has a very good chance of doing that. But for now, that ties us back up at 2 points apiece.
Yep.
So that brings us to the very last category which we have, which is shopping. So we'll start at Castaway Cay with She Sells Seashells and By the Seashore, two separate shops that are largely the same. I think there's more at By the Seashore, and I think that they can get away with that because the first one, people are going to go into the first one just because they're like, oh, I want to make sure I get, my magnet or my keychain or whatever. But the selection was a little bit bigger at By the Seashore, but both of them were kind of like dark shacks.
Yeah,
which it's obviously on purpose, but
I was
you were just just agreeing?
I was just agreeing.
Okay, that's all well and good. So then you got to go in quite a ways though to go into the Bahamas shops that are there. And what I found about those ones personally is that it just very much felt like when you go to Niagara Falls and there's just a gift shop there that's just got like things that say Niagara Falls on it. That's kind of what this place felt like. Whereas if I contrast that to Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point with Treasures of Eleuthera, there was artisan stuff in there. There was actual art. There was actual jewelry that you could tell was made by somebody as opposed to this stuff that would look like it was just all resin.
Yeah, they had taken things like shells that they had found on the beach and making jewelry out of it. Or there was an artist there who had actually painted some of the wildlife that you could find in the area and some of the plants and stuff like that. So it was definitely more cultural, I guess you would say, in what you can find there, and maybe a little more authentic.
For sure. And then Disney Tings, which is the Disney store on Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. I liked it better as an overall store. It was a little bit better organized. It was a little brighter in there.
It was a little bigger too.
It was a little bit bigger too, but the only downfall is that there weren't two of them like there were at Castaway Cay, which kind of lets you spread out and maybe lets you kind of go back and see, oh, this one might not be as busy, so you can go pop in there or whatever. Now, Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, by the entrance over where you go on the trams and stuff, has a little spot right there. There's a kiosk that has some things. It's limited in what you're gonna get, but if you're just looking to get like a little tchotchke of some kind, or you wanna get some of those sundries, like some sunscreen or something like that, you could easily get that before you get to the beach, which is nice. So there's still options there, but then I also like at Lookout Cay just how the shopping is kind of in one spot. So you say, I wanna go shopping, you go to one spot, whereas Castaway Cay is kind of in three very different spots.
Yeah.
For my vote, I say that Lookout Cay is the better shopping, but what is your overall opinion?
I agree with you. I think Lookout Cay had the better shopping just because it did offer more, what felt more authentic. I'm still aware, as somebody who lives in a very touristy area, that a lot of it was just kind of the top tchotchke things that you could kind of find at any souvenir shop in any touristy area that you go to around the world. But it just felt a little more authentic in that they had local artisans there selling their stuff versus just having it all shipped in to sell at a store.
So that gives Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point the edge at 3-2. For our money, that is the better port. And I would say that we had the overall better day on that one as well.
Yeah, I think we did too.
Not to disparage Castaway Cay at all. We had a blast at Castaway Cay. Had that been the only place we went, then we would have had a blast there and it would have been fine.
We wouldn't have noticed that we were missing out on anything if that was our only port.
Yeah, no, 100%. So let us know down in the comments what you think. If you've experienced both ports, let us know which one your favorite was. If there's a port, something like that, like thinking of Coco Cay for Royal Caribbean, or the ones for Virgin, whatever ones, whoever else has islands out there. If you have ones that you think are better than either Castaway Cay or Lookout Cay, let us know about those ones too. We'd be interested to hear about them. If you enjoyed your time with us here today, make sure you hit like on the video, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we have new videos coming out. Make sure to follow us on our socials, links are down below, and join us on the Discord to join in the magic. That is gonna be it for this one, my friends. Until next time, whatever you do,
make it magical.
That's gonna be it for this one, and until next time, whatever you do, make it magical. Give it a shot. If not, I'll do it.
I've already forgot most of it. Can I just do the make it magical? Please do everything else.